If you've ever seen some of my posts or just wondered what I do on a broadcast, this video will break it down. I'm a technical director and I operate the video switcher. The video switcher I operate has over 1,300 buttons that each do something specific. And before you ask, yes, I do know what every button does. During the show, I listen to the director who's giving me commands on what source they want to see on air and how they want it to happen, and I physically hit the button that makes it happen. So here I'm hitting the buttons to cut cameras directly to air, or I can use these bottom row of buttons to preset a source, and then I can dissolve or wipe or whatever transition the director wants to that source. I use things called keyers to overlay graphics on top of the cameras. So the graphics operator can animate out a graphic, but ultimately I have to have it keyed to show up on air. And you can see here, I'm turning on and off the keyer that the score bug is in. So when it's not keyed, you don't see it. When it is keyed, you do see it. I use this section of the switcher to do my replay effects. So the producer will set up a replay angle and he'll tell us replay to X, in which case I can hit my replay to X button. And now we're looking at replay machine X. And then if they've set up multiple different looks, I can use these buttons down here to dissolve between the different machines that are showing the different replays. I also use this section of the switcher to do my replay zooms. So if there's a replay where we need to zoom in and see if their foot was on the line or whatever the case may be, the director can tell me they want to zoom in on whatever part of the screen, and I can hit the button that correlates to that part of the screen and it will zoom in, and then I can also zoom it back out. And then once we're done showing replays, I can use this button that will replay out to whatever camera the director tells me to, and now we're back in live action. Another responsibility is graphical transitions. I'll get a list of a bunch of different effects that the director wants me to build. And you can see here, it's just a nice pretty transition from one camera to the other. And a lot of times I'll get sponsored elements too that I have to run. This area of the switcher is where I do my different box effects and split screens and stuff like that. So you can see there I have a 2-box pulled up, and I can use the top row to change what's in the left box. I can use the bottom row to change what's in the right box. And depending on the show and the director, sometimes I'll have a bunch of different box effects, which I have here, different split screen looks. And sometimes I don't have all that many. Sometimes they have motion, which you can see here. Just depends on the show and what the director wants. Another responsibility of mine is to configure the monitor wall. Usually I'll use panels like what's on the bottom of the screen there, but this truck had a really nice touchscreen display for it. But the director and producer will draw out a diagram of what cameras and replay sources and whatnot they want to see where on the monitor wall. So here I'm giving you an example. I just put camera 1 in that box, and now I'm going to change that to camera 3, and that box changed. So you can imagine on a monitor wall of this size, if there are a lot of things that they want different or changed, I'll have to go in and route the video to each spot. Something else I'll have to build out is a clean feed. So you can see on the left there, we have cameras cutting around with the graphics, and on the right, we see cameras cutting around without graphics, and I put up the split screen. On the left, you see the split screen. On the right, you only see one camera. So that's called a clean feed, just clean of any graphics or effects. And here I added the telestrator. You can see on the main broadcast, it's there. On the clean feed, it's not. Another thing I have to build is this clocks over a camera, and this goes to replay in case there's a delay of game or a buzzer beater, and they can replay this to see where the clock was at. And everything I've been showing you is done out of these TV trucks, these 53-foot trailers that expand out on the sides, and all the cameras, microphones, everything has to be set up the day of or the day before, and so part of my job is to verify that everything is set up correctly. So I'll get on with the camera operators and do a camera fax, make sure everything is good there. I'll also check with replay, make sure they have everything they need. I see their correct replay sources. We'll do a transmission check during the day and make sure our signal looks good over the air. And here's a little insight into what it's like inside of the truck and what sort of commands I'm listening to during the show.
Ooh. Flag? Flag down. Flag is down. Flag is down. Stand by 1, take 1.
Wide first.
Stand by 3.
Leave it on red and blue, right?
Stand by 2, take 2.
Actually, go red and blue.
Stand by replay red.
That's the discussion.
Yeah. Replay red, roll.
No, you can see red. Red and blue.
Stand by blue next. 2 coming out to you. Let me see the throw. Stand by blue, roll blue dissolve. Stand by effect on camera 2. Yep.
The quarterback's going to get the extra protection.
And effect camera 2. Go. One, take red, roll right.
Time for the Tennessee Department of Corrections.
Stand by, front two in, animate.
Jalen Arrow out of Michigan showing up a couple of times. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Stand by the loose front.
Two views of each. Strip
And
sack there. And the center
loose
one, another
front.
power rush by Arrow.
Stand by, flare out force, and flare out.
As you can see, a lot goes into making a good broadcast, and there are a lot of very skilled men and women that are making split-second decisions to bring you the best broadcast possible. So next time you're watching anything live, think about all the men and women behind the scenes making it happen.